Today is the day that I finally, or I hope so, get to make an image that I've been dying to make for a very long time now. I'm at the most stunning beach in Galicia, also one of the most challenging ones. You'll see why. Getting this shot will require not only skills, but I also have to be fast because I have a very short window of time to make it happen. It'll be the perfect location to try out my newest piece of equipment. As you might remember, I destroyed quite a few of my ND filters during the recent trip that I took across Scotland. I was devastated because long exposure is an essential part of my work. Thankfully, my good friends at Kase came to the rescue and they sent me a new set of ND filters that I'm gonna be trying today and that I'm gonna be using to make that image that I've been wanting to make for so long a reality finally. The clock is ticking though, so let's go. This is as far as I've ever gotten on this beach, just to this arch. I'm gonna take a photo again because I've never seen the water so low, the tide so low, and that is the reason why I'm here. The tides are gonna be very strong today, which is going to allow me to get to a part of the beach I've never been to before. But let's start with this one because it's looking pretty amazing and it's gonna be my first test of the new ND filters. Okay, I'm gonna do a 1 minute exposure. It should be more than enough here. In order to do that, I'm gonna have to use two filters, the 10 stop and the 3 stop that I can stack like that and put in front of the lens. That is a beautiful composition. It's beautiful, it's looking beautiful. And the long exposure is gonna make it just better. And again, just 1 minute. 1 minute. I couldn't find any CDs at home, so I brought the cases. That's what I'm using to keep the legs of the tripod to prevent them from sinking. It seems to be working just fine. I love it. I really like the composition. It's very nice. Again, it was a 1 minute long exposure. I'm ready to move on to the next section of the beach, but the tide is still not low enough. So while we wait for the tide to recede just a little bit more, let me tell you about these ND filters. As you could see earlier, I used two to get the previous shot, the 10 and the 3 stop ND filters. I can stack them like this. They are magnetic. These are the Wolverine Revolution ND filters, and I have the 3, 6 and 10 stop. Now, as you might know, I usually use a 15 stop ND filter because I like to take long exposures even in the middle of the day when it's bright out, but I can achieve the same results doing this because these filters are very good image quality wise, and I can stack 2 or even 3 without suffering a lot in the image quality department. Not that I care too much about that anyway, because as you know, I like to kind of destroy my images in post. I add a lot of grain. I try to make them moody images, but it's always nice to start from a good foundation. What's new for me with these filters is that they are colored, and that is awesome. That was one of the biggest flaws that I saw on the previous Kase filters that I had, because it was very hard to tell them apart, and I like to, you know, keep them like that, stacked. Even though today I'm using the very nice case that they came with, but I think I'm gonna go back to just, you know, storing them like this. But when you do this, as I said, it's very hard to know which one is the 10 stop, which one is the polarizer. I haven't memorized the colors just yet. I know that the silver one is the circular polarizer. The other ones I'm still working on, but I know that I will over time, and I will know at a glance which filters I have to grab, which filters I'm using on my camera at any given moment. All right, I think the tide is low enough now for me to be able to walk to the section of the beach that I've never been able to visit, even though I've been here for at least 2 or 3 times as a photographer. I've been here many more times in the past, but not with the, with the goal of making images. As I said, this is a relatively hard or challenging beach to access, and there are a lot of people that come here in the summer. There are huge crowds, but many people are disappointed to see that they came at the wrong time on the wrong day, when the tide is too high for them to actually see the best features, the best formations that this place has to offer. That's what happened to me in the past. I came at the wrong time, but today I wanted to fix this, and I'm very excited because I'm about to walk into something that it should look very beautiful. Let's do it. Let's do it. So beautiful. This is what I came here for. Absolutely stunning, and because the tide is receding, is going away, there are these paddles that we can play with and to create some reflections. The challenges are very clear though. The tripod is not very stable because it's sinking very fast, and also there might be some deep holes where I could potentially get very wet. I have my rubber boots, so that helps a lot, but I gotta be careful with that. One of my priorities today is to not break anything, a camera, a lens, and I hope I don't wreck the ND filters on day one. Crossing fingers. I swear, every time I break something, this time I dropped the cable release in the water. You can hear it, it's filled with water, so it's not working. I mean, I haven't tried it, but I don't want to mess up the camera or something. So yeah, literally 2 minutes after saying my priority, or one of my priorities, was not to break something today, I broke something. I guess it could have been much, much worse. That is probably the cheapest piece of equipment that I have in my camera bag, and the one that I'd rather lose if I had to lose one. Oh, this is done. Anyway, I am limited now about how long my long exposures can be without the cable. I can only take them as long as 30 seconds. That is how far my camera can go before getting into bulb mode. There are quite a few people around here now. This is a very popular spot, and it's Saturday morning and the weather is kind of just perfect. It would have been nice to be able to go to 1-2 minutes to get rid of the people who are walking around here and taking photos. Also, I got wet. Water got in my rubber boots, but I don't mind about that. It's uncomfortable, but I have dry clothes back in the car. Alright, hopefully it's not a bad idea, but one thing that I thought about doing is taking a bunch of 30-second exposures and blending them in post, but I don't like doing that. It's a lot of work. So I gave it a try to the cable, and it's not working. It's not working in the sense that now it's always clicking the shutter. But that's actually all I need. Instead of pressing the button, I just have to plug the cable in, and to finish the exposure, I just have to unplug it. And it seems to work fine so far. I've been here at the same spot for quite a while now, and it's okay because I love it, and this is what I came for here. But I want to explore a little bit farther down the beach, maybe looking this way. We'll get another interesting perspective. Also, it's making me a little bit uncomfortable to be here just under those cliffs. They are very unstable, and people have died here before from falling rocks. So yeah, I think I'm gonna move on after this exposure is done. Okay, before moving on, I'm just gonna take a couple shots with 35 and the 85. Just regular shots, no long exposures, because I think they will look amazing as well. It is getting pretty crowded around here. Minutes. Phew, much better now. It was really crowded just a couple minutes ago, and there are more people coming, big groups. Anyway, as you could see, I couldn't find much on the other side of the arches. I'm now working on that cliff that you see there. I really like the shape. I am trying from farther away with the 85, taking a 2-minute long exposure, and then I'll get closer and try again with the 35, even with the 20, to emphasize the shape of the cliff and hopefully capture some of the clouds in the background, even though, as I said, it's very cloudy today, so there's not going to be a lot of motion capture there. Alright, so the tide is rising, and that makes this place very dangerous for me, not for me, but for my cameras. Already a couple of waves got me or reached where I was taking a picture with my tripod. I already dropped one of the new ND filters, nothing happened, it's just full of sand. But anyway, it's time for me to get out of here. Also, you don't want to be here when the tide gets a little bit higher, because it blocks the access or the exit in this case. So yeah. All right, even though I might look very tired, because I am tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. I had to wake up very early. It's a 2-hour drive now. I have to go back home now, but totally worth it. I had a blast here. I finally got to make the image that I had been wanting to make for a very long time of those section of the beach. As I said at the beginning of the video, long exposure photography is an essential tool for my work, as it is the snow and the fog and shooting usually nasty conditions. And that is because of what they have in common. All of those conditions and this technique make my images simpler and I believe more beautiful that way. I like leaving that negative space in the frame in my images because it gives room for the subject, for what I want to say, to breathe and to stand out. This is what happens in snowy landscapes. I can photograph things like trees or buildings or whatever it is, and the snow removes all the unnecessary complexity and details of the foreground. It's very simple. It's all white and I just have my subject back there. The same with the fog. It's very good removing the background so I can focus, or the viewer can focus on the subject. And that is exactly the same that long exposure photography does for me when I'm shooting a subject or something that is surrounded by water. By exposing the shot for a long time, we get rid of all the ripples, the waves, and the clouds go away too. They show some motion, they're more smooth. Again, all of this is to remove the complexity, to make the image simpler, and to make the subject stand out more. And that's why ND filters are so important to me and to my photography, why I was devastated in Scotland when I lost the ones that I had. And these ones that I use today are the best ones I've ever had. I was expecting it because I loved the previous one, so the additional feature with the color for the different ND filters just made them even better. So if you're looking for a set of ND filters, give these ones a try. You won't be disappointed. If you are new to long exposure photography, if you don't know if this is something you are going to want to do, or you don't want to spend a lot of money, I look into welding glass. It's a very inexpensive option. I have a video about it. The link is going to be somewhere up there. Oh, all right, that's going to be all for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video, the images, and the location. It's a beautiful place and I always love coming back here. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.